Hey everybody, thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time. And I'm excited because this one is going to be a pretty cool story. It might not be, earth shattering like some of the other people that we've worked with, but, I can tell you right now, if you've had any of the problems that Eric and Natalie had, you know that even though it might not be like a huge label or something, it still sucks brutally. And if you can, use these guys, this young couple as proof of what's possible, then to me that's pretty freaking cool. So I got some great friends, I got some awesome clients, Eric and Natalie. Would you guys mind just quickly introducing yourselves, letting everybody know who you are and what you're about?
Sure. My name is Eric.
Hello, Eric.
What is there to know about me? Born and raised in Vancouver. Always thought I was healthy.
Sure.
Would only get sick like once a year, and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
I always recover from this and that, and never thought of myself as being, having any real problems. And then thinking about it now, it's like, yeah, I had gained quite a bit of weight recently.
Hmm.
I was always the guy who ate a lot of food and never gained weight, so I, never stopped eating
Sure.
food.
Sure.
And I started gaining a lot of weight. And self-esteem started going down a bit. And the one thing I realized after a while, after being married to my wife, she kind of noticed is like I was spending a lot of time in the bathrooms, more than I probably should have been. I was in there
Right. Is that true, Natalie? Can you confirm that?
hours.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, "Why are you in there so long?" I'm like, I don't know. It just is.
Got it. Got it.
So things like that, and
Hmm.
never thought of myself as unhealthy, but
Sure.
kind of was.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, just now that you have how you feel today to compare it to, like you can realize like if this is what healthy was, if healthy is, then like before, maybe not as healthy as I thought it was. That's pretty common. That's pretty common.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then what about you, Natalie? You having a good day so far?
Sun's shining out here, so that's
That's
always
it.
good.
How can you have a bad day when the sun's shining? You
Exactly.
know? Cool.
I was born and raised also in Vancouver,
Hmm.
which is such a rarity
Cool. Yeah,
out
that's my
here.
hometown.
I think for me growing up, I was the opposite. We never went out to restaurants, hardly ever.
Hmm.
It was always home cooked meals. It's always healthy. We didn't eat like, let's say, cookies were like with carrot chips instead of with
So chocolate chips.
chocolate chips. Like
Right. Right.
we ate tofu, we ate cottage cheese and fruit.
Hmm.
Saturdays, like
Sure.
for lunch, salads. So it wasn't until I was in my 20s and into 30s where I was like, oh, fast food.
Freedom.
Got it. Got it.
That weight gained. Oh boy.
Sure. Sure.
And especially in I was at my heaviest in June of 2020. So
Hmm.
it's been a good um
A good journey so far, maybe.
yes.
Yeah?
So weight loss
Cool.
journey.
Cool. So, just for anybody watching, can you guys, maybe if you think back to the beginning when you first started with us, like, is there anything that you can think of that was like a really important moment or like something you heard us say or like a video that you saw or an article you read or something that was just like, that kind of help you guys make that decision that like, I think these people can actually help us, and fix these problems because I know you guys have been like health conscious for quite a while, like a long time, right? And you guys have done different programs and tons of diets and you guys have bought other things and worked with other people and all the different kind of stuff. But like, is there anything you can think of that maybe you thought was different about us or just something that kind of made you want to pull that trigger and just, try one last time?
Well, for us, we were at a conference down in Irvine, California.
Okay. Yep.
And the guy who put on the conference, he invited your dad
Right.
to speak,
Hmm.
and he spoke through Zoom,
Yeah.
and that was just insane. It was ridiculous. Just the things that he was telling us, right? Like the things that he was
Right.
revealing,
Sure.
just the depth of knowledge that he had, and just
Mm.
like you said, we've been on a kind of a health journey this whole time, right? Like
Hmm. Yep.
since 2008, maybe 2010, we've been on
Sure.
this health journey. Just with different companies we've been with, different people we associated with.
Hmm.
And it's been a continuous long stretch of just learning about how our bodies work and this just felt like the ultimate culmination of that. You know, just
Mm,
at first it was like, are we willing to commit? Because we don't have that much disposable income, right? So it was like
sure.
that was the biggest thing with us was whether we could fit it into our budget. But then we're like, we had to do it.
Yeah,
We knew we had to do this because
I hear you.
everything we'd done so far had gotten us to a certain point, but it still wasn't getting us where we needed to be.
Right, right.
This was just like, just felt we had to do it.
You just had to do it. I like that a lot. That's really great. Um, well, here, just for everybody watching, why don't you guys can you quickly recap your story, your experience? Like, what has it been like for you guys since we all started? Like what does it look like from your end? What results have you gotten? What have you liked? What did you not like? You know, like what's going on? What's your guys' story?
Like I said, for me, the whole bathroom thing was
Sure.
something I've been dealing with since I was a teenager. It never seemed like an
Right.
issue for me.
Right.
You know, I go
Right.
to the bathroom, I just grab a bunch of comics, and I just read for a while. You know, it's
Got
like
it. Got it.
time
And
away
just
from
for
the
context, like when you say the bathroom thing, like what does that mean exactly?
spending so much time in the bathroom. You know, I'd spend 2, 3 hours sometimes.
Wow.
When I was a teenager, right? But a lot of that
Sure.
was just, I was reading comics, so it wasn't a
Sure.
big thing to me, right? I was just like, I'm just killing time.
Got it.
But as I got older, and I had a whole schedule that I had to adhere to, right? It became
Yeah.
kind of an issue
Mm.
to where I wouldn't want to bother my wife, so I'd do these bathroom breaks after she would go to sleep, right? Because
Yeah.
when we're awake, I want to spend time with her, right? So I'd
Of course.
hold up the bathroom break till she's gone to bed, and I'd be up till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning on the toilet.
Wow.
So I wasn't getting sleep either.
Of course not. Yeah.
So it's just kind of, in my head it was just, just how my body worked, I guess. Like
Sure. Probably
I
just
used
it
to,
was so long and you just have got you accustomed to it.
I used to it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do like one bowel movement a day and that would be it, right? So I figured I just unload
Sure.
everything,
Got it.
like I'd hear about people talking about being regular, but I was like, I don't know what that is,
Right. Right.
and I think that was, for my wife, that was the main reason why she wanted me to do this. Like, I want you off that toilet.
I remember there was a few conversations about that in the first couple months, and that was
You need
definitely
to
a
be in bed with me.
highlight of the early points. That's funny.
Yeah. But not only that, it's just, the weight gain was a big thing too for me.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
I did not enjoy it. I
Mm.
was always the really skinny guy, I was always like
Yep.
tall, skinny person who ate everything and never gained weight. That was my claim to fame, among all
Right.
my friends. Like,
Right.
yeah, I eat whatever I want. I don't gain weight.
Sure.
And then I
Sure.
did.
Got it. And then
Slowly.
so like how much well, first of all, on the bowel thing with the bathroom, like how fast did you start seeing improvement in that?
It was pretty quick, I think.
It was like, I would say within the first 2 weeks.
Within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I started,
that seems about right for where my track was.
I started going more often,
Yep.
and I was having like proper poops,
Right. Right.
which was like, I didn't know what a proper poop was.
Sure.
I was like,
Sure.
well, just go to the bathroom. What are you talking about?
Got it.
But, I started being regular, I was like,
Hmm.
I started taking that cleanse product, which I still do not enjoy.
I don't think anybody does.
That was always the biggest struggle for me, was taking that
Yep.
product like I was
Yep.
supposed to. And even
Sure.
not taking it like I was supposed to, it was still helping me.
Got
It was
it.
like,
Yeah.
it got better even with me trying not to take the product.
Of course.
If I can say something about that, I'm
Absolutely.
competitive. I'm a person that's quite competitive.
I have not
So
noticed
we
that.
had two
I've not noticed
bottles.
that about you.
We had 2 bottles,
Yep.
and I said, okay,
She
one,
labels one hers.
mine, I had mine labeled and his
Yep.
not, so that way I knew which one. Even
Of
though
course.
he could have had his labels too,
Of
labeled
course.
too. Of course, I finished like much. He still has his bottle, which I ended like over a month ago, and I'm like, you still have it?
Yes, I know.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, so obviously Natalie won that, competition,
Yes.
hands down.
There's-
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Fantastic. Air 5, Natalie. Bing. Love it.
Also, drinking more water for me was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought I was dehydrated, but I
Hmm.
was. My lips were always kind of a little dry, a little cracked.
Got it.
My fingers would get dry, and
Mm.
now drinking as much water as I'm supposed to,
Hmm.
at least trying to. I
Sure.
think it's made a huge difference for that. Like, chew my lips anymore, like dry skin off my lips.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you mentioning a couple times, and even today, just like, did you feel more hydrated? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that's
Which
not
is
like
a
a
weird
scientific
idea.
term or nothing, but I mean,
Yeah.
for anybody that knows what it feels like to be dehydrated, like I think they know what you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with the weight loss, like how much weight did you lose roughly for both of you guys? 'Cause I know both of you lost, a pretty significant amount.
When I started, I think I was in like mid 170s, like
Hmm.
176 ish or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was almost 180.
Almost 180.
Yeah,
I was
Yep.
almost 180.
yeah.
Hmm.
And now I'm down to one. I just weighed myself today. I'm down to 166.
That's not bad,
And it's not just the weight though. My pants weren't fitting anymore.
right?
I have like I have 4 pairs of khakis, and I
Hmm.
could only wear one of them, and that one I could barely zip up. And
Got
now
it.
they all fit again, which is kind of a big thing.
Fantastic. Hey, and
And
Natalie,
I
you know
tried.
what? I think we can both agree here. Eric can rock a pair of khakis. You know what I'm saying? So now at least he's got some variety again. That's fantastic news.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
The dress pants fit again, which they weren't fitting for the longest time.
Right.
So I was wearing jeans with the blazer
Right.
as my nice clothing.
For sure. For sure. And but with
And
all
I
that
actually
weight loss though, like have you noticed a big loss in weight like in your arms or in your shoulders? Like did you lose like size on your body or would you just like, release toxins and it's part of the detox and all those kinds of things. Like I know now you obviously your belly's a lot flatter, but losing 20 pounds on a
Yeah.
guy, that can definitely sound, scary if you think about it under the normal way that people lose weight. But
Mhm.
have you lost a lot of size? Have you lost a lot of strength or mass or anything on your body?
Not that I've noticed. Like,
Well, that's good.
I look at myself in the mirror, and actually, muscle definition is actually coming back a bit now, which is kind of
Exactly.
nice.
Exactly. You hear
Still
that,
got a spare
folks?
tire that needs to be worked on, but other than that,
Mhm.
yeah, the
I
spare
mean,
tire's still there.
obviously your face is
Yeah.
tightened up and things like that, but I mean,
Mhm.
just, watching you over these last months, like your neck hasn't gotten any smaller, your shoulders aren't any
Still the
less
same.
broad, that sort of thing, right? And I just
Yeah.
think that's a big point to mention, especially for dudes, because a lot of time they hear like, oh, weight loss, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to get smaller arms, or I'm going to lose the thickness on my back, or my legs are going to get skinny again, you know.
Hmm.
And so I just think that's a really cool part because it's not like we haven't really done much physical training so far,
Nope.
like
Just
we've done a few
all
here and there,
water and
but
diet.
it was
Hmm.
never really a big focus for what you guys wanted to do. And so even
Hmm.
with minimal training, you're still able to retain all your size and lose almost 20 pounds. I think that's pretty
Hmm.
cool. Cool. And then what about you, Natalie? How much weight do you think you've lost so far, roughly?
About 15 pounds.
That's pretty big considering you're not a very small or not a very large person to begin with.
No,
That's cool. How do you guys feel with all that weight off your body now?
lighter.
I would imagine, yeah.
Like for me, like I, I'm not bragging to people or to friends I know
Hmm.
or to family, but I'm just like, yeah, I lost about 10 pounds a year, and they look at me, they're like, you lost 10
Oh.
pounds a year? Like, and how could you do? Like they haven't said it yet, but in their
Yep.
minds they must be like, and how did you do it? How did you
Yeah.
do it?
A
Of
lot of her
course.
friends have issues with weight.
Hmm.
So,
Got it. Got it.
there was a friend, actually, she hadn't seen us in a while.
Hmm.
And then she showed up at church and she hugged Natalie. She's like, "What you do? Why you so small?"
I bet that's hilarious. That's awesome.
I mean, we'll talk later. That's our little
Yeah,
lineage now.
exactly.
We'll talk later.
Hmm.
Exactly. That's
Hmm.
fantastic. That's cool. Okay,
But
so we
one
got
big
the
thing
weight
about
loss, we got your bowels getting a lot better. Anything else you guys can honestly say that you've seen, any real change or real development in?
I think for me, my hands every October through to like for 6 months out of the
Hmm.
year, my
Yep.
hands would get red, would crack. I guess I
dry.
was dried, super
Sure.
dry.
Sure.
I guess I realized I wasn't using the proper soaps.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, a lot of the
and
alcohol stuff, we talked about that a lot in the beginning. That can
Hmm.
really
yeah,
do damage to your skin for sure.
when I stopped that, um, you know, and dunking my hands in that water
Yep.
helped a lot. Like I
Hmm.
don't do it every day like I should be,
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
but it has helped. Like And now, well, we're more into spring, so it's
Mm-hmm.
gotten
Yep.
better.
Yep.
There's none of that dryness and
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
such. Yeah.
That's really
One of the
cool.
big things I've noticed with her is clothing.
Mm.
Like, for the longest time, every time we would go shopping, she'd be like, I want to look at large. I'm like, you're not a large. She's like, no, I want to buy a large. I'm like, you're not a large. So we went to a store once, right? She was trying on clothes. She's like, these ones don't fit. I'm like, yeah, I know they don't fit. So I started grabbing her mediums. She's like, these are still too big. So we grabbed her smalls and extra smalls, and she was fitting those now.
That's
And it was
cool.
like,
Like even size pair of jeans, like 31 for the longest time, which I
Yep.
still own.
Sure.
But we had gone into a store where I'm able to fit in size 29, which I probably can now for sure.
Cool.
Because
mhm,
back then, like a few months ago, I was still like hovering around, I'd say close to about 160, but now
Mm.
that I'm a little less than that. And the style of jeans they've decided to discontinue. So I
Mhm.
bought, I don't know, like 6 or 7 pairs of the size 29,
Of course.
just so that way I could have.
Of course.
her favorite jeans. They
Yeah.
discontinued them, so she bought as many as she could.
Nice. That's awesome.
At
That's how you do it.
least they were on clearance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But even just yesterday, we were at her mom's place, and she
Yep.
had worn this shirt that she had gotten over the winter, right?
Yep.
And so I had her stand up, and I grabbed the shirt, and I just grabbed the back of it, I just bunched it up, and it was like a big wad of like cloth, like this much. I was able to scrunch it up that much.
Wow.
You know, it's like,
That's pretty
she
cool.
thanked me.
That's pretty cool.
She
And
thanked me.
then Natalie, I noticed one more thing I remember that you mentioned was with your hair. And you mentioned your skin and that sort of stuff, but let everybody know what's going on with your hair, because I think that's a pretty flippin' cool point, everything we're doing here.
Well, for me, since the age of 22,
Mhm.
I guess it may have been genetics and such,
Or
like,
stress.
and stress probably too. But I never
Might
thought of
play a
this
small
as,
role.
yes, I started getting gray hairs. Like it
Mm.
first started like on the sideburns, and then it started
Sure.
and then every year, and I have yet, and I don't ever plan to, but I had said, okay, once I hit 40, I'll do like, the full, instead of the highlights, I'll just do the full head,
Sure.
coloring of my full head, and I
Mhm.
still haven't done it, and I never will. And like over the last like several months and such,
Mhm.
there's actual black hairs. I guess black hairs start to grow first before your natural hair color. So yes, I've got several
Sure. I mean, yeah,
black
it's
hairs.
usually always darkest at the root, so that would make
Uh,
sense.
Mhm.
But as long as
and
it's not gray, I mean, that's huge.
exactly.
Yep.
That's really
Coming
cool.
back.
Yeah,
So
they're
naturally, a woman in her mid 40s is regrowing her natural hair color. Is that what you're telling me right now?
yes, that's
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to me. That's awesome. If there's one common theme that I can kind of pick apart from your guys' story, stuff coming up to kind of get in your guys' way, like pretty consistently. Like it seems like anything that could kind of try to interrupt or stop you guys with this whole process like has come up, pretty consistently. So there's been a ton of ups and downs. There's been a lot of days where we had good days, bad days, good days, bad days. Like, there's a lot of inconsistencies throughout the whole process, right? And like even with all that kind of stuff, like I know obviously for you guys, like it's been frustrating, having to work all this extra time in to try to catch up for a few bad days here and there and that sort of stuff. And I understand that, and things are getting a lot better the last couple months for sure, right? But one of the really cool points in that I think a lot of people could relate to is that with you guys, life happens and gets in the way all the time. Things don't really go according to plan hardly if ever, right? So the fact that you guys can have all these ups and downs and all these inconsistencies and all these bad days, good days, and everybody trying to take your time and all these things that come up that you couldn't really plan for, and all this stuff that's just trying to fight against everything you guys want to do for your health and for the following the program and all that sort of stuff. And still, with all that, you guys still can get results like these. I just think that that's kind of proof and evidence to anybody, like no matter how crazy your life is, no matter how up or down things seem to be, no matter how chaotic life becomes, like, if as long as you're disciplined enough to stick to it, even if it's not perfect all the time, just stick it out regardless. Like, you guys are proof that people can be healthy despite anything. you know, and I think that's really, really cool. And I think that could be a really great example to a lot of
Yeah.
people.
For me, my biggest struggle is still what I'm eating, my diet. Like, I know we're supposed to be limiting a lot of stuff, right? But where I
Of
work,
course.
we eat out a lot because we're on the road. And then even if I do prep food, sometimes by the time we get a break, it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'm in Vancouver, so we just grab food and
Yeah.
eat it on the way there or whatever. And we do hot pot a lot.
That's true. A hot pot, a lot.
Hot pot is my bane and my hot pot is my weakness. Like when I
Yep.
have hot pot, the bowel movements flare up, except for the very last time we did it. And I chewed a lot, and I made sure not to drink the ultra spicy death soup that we make.
Totally.
And my bowel movement was actually relatively normal.
So yeah, just thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this. Like I said, it's not like, earth-shattering stories or anything like that, but I mean, it's all real. It's all, you guys are actual living people, and your lives are significantly better now than they were before. I think regardless, that's an amazing story. Like a good down-to-earth underdog story, right? And I like those. I'm a sucker for an underdog story, and I think you guys are definitely proof that you can pull through and make it happen regardless of anything that gets in your way. I think that's really cool. But before I let you guys go, though, do you have any words of encouragement or anything you guys want to say? Like if there's any key points you want someone to take away from hearing what you guys have been able to accomplish, or any lessons you learned, or any words you want to share that you think might help somebody watching today?
For me, the main thing is you don't got to be perfect. Like, there's anyone who has not followed this program the way it's meant to be. It's me.
Got it.
Honestly, I've gone 2-3 days without taking the cleanse up.
Sure. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna say it. You said it. I'm not gonna throw it under the bus like that. But I mean, if that's what you think, I'm not gonna disagree.
But even with that, like it's I've gotten results. Like, if I applied myself and followed this program like I'm supposed to, I'm sure I'd be way further ahead.
Sure.
But I'm glad where I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's way better than day one,
Yeah.
and regardless of that, even if it takes you guys, maybe a little bit longer than somebody else to get there, like as long as you get to the finish line, that's the most important thing, because we're talking about the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, not the next weekend or the next Christmas celebration or whatever, and you guys are learning and developing yourselves into creating a lifestyle that you can actually stick to for the long term. And that's the most important thing. We're talking, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Yep. If it was a sprint, she'd be kicking my ass right now.
Yeah, but she's also like super aerodynamic, so it's kind of an unfair disadvantage. You know what I mean?
I will say the one biggest thing though is buying that Kangen water machine. Like honestly, that's the one big thing that's changed us the most, I think. Like just knowing that we've got a source of clean, good water that's actually doing what it's supposed to, right?
No kidding.
And that's the one thing I talk to my friends most about.
Yeah,
the water.
Well, it's really funny you mention that, because like Kangen water, it's phenomenal. I'll talk about it with anybody, anytime, any place. Like when you can get a true medical grade ionizer in your home, like it is a game changer. But on the same note, though, I will say that is definitely by far the thing that you guys have had the easiest time and the best time staying consistent with. Over the diet, over the detox, over any exercise, over any of the mindset stuff we've done, like out of everything that we've done, because we've done a lot, like it's been a ride, but out of everything, the Kangen water and just doing that consistently every day, without fail, even if you have a couple bad days, like you always bounce back really fast, right? And that, I don't know if without that, would you be able to say that, the consistency is such a huge part. And I think that's why, another reason on top of all the science and everything, why the Kangen water works so well is just because it's so easy for people to do, even if you are struggling with the diet and you are struggling with doing the detox and you're not going to the gym all the time and all these things, right? Like everybody drinks water, anybody can drink water, and if you can just be consistent with it, like everybody sees what you guys are talking about, you see results.
And being disciplined. That's always been my word over the last few years.
Yeah,
Like persevere and have discipline.
that's it.
You know, if
That's
you
it.
don't have that, then you're just living your life in mediocrity.
Totally.
So
Totally. Discipline is extremely underrated.
And don't get down on yourself if you miss a few days or if you fall off completely or
Mhm.
whatever. Don't get down on yourself. Just get back on there. Just keep doing it again.
Exactly.
That's all that
You made a
matters.
mistake, brush the dirt off your shoulder and keep moving forward. That's all.
Mhm.
That's cool. I couldn't have said it better myself. Guys, thank you for being here. Everybody watching, thank you for sticking all the way to the end. I hope that if nothing else, like I say every other time, but just true, especially with these guys, just, if you leave with nothing else today, just know that there's hope and know that whatever you're going through, you can overcome it and you can beat it because, Eric and Natalie, they're awesome people, but they're just like everybody else. They're just like me. They're just like you, and if they can do it, if they can find the determination and the discipline inside of themselves and they can stick to something like this, then you can too. And it works regardless, so just be encouraged, be hopeful, and just know that you guys can have the health that you're hearing Eric and Natalie talking about because it's achievable for anybody. I know that in my bones.
Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Have an amazing day. Go enjoy the sunshine. And I will probably be talking to you in a few days.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing day.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.